Hi, I'm Scott at ediblemusic.com. I want to show you how to use the Soundghost Texturize, which is a plugin that is sort of like an envelope follower, and it can utilize some samples. You can even add your own samples. I'll show you around the plugin first, and then I'll show you some of the cool things that you can do with it. Here, the interface is pretty straightforward. You can turn on and off the input signal, and you can turn on and off the sample signal that is being used for the envelope shaper. You can also choose the start and end points of your sample if you want to specify some very specific spots. And just as you would for a sampler, you can specify the onset or the attack as well as the release time. And you can turn the sample level up or down as well. You've got a couple of filters, a high pass and a low pass filter, just in case you want to make sure that you're only getting the right frequencies that are layering with the program element that you're using. So you can bring that down if you want to bring down some of the high end or bring out some of the high end, and same with the low end. And you can also adjust the pitch. Texturize comes with a whole bunch of presets, and as I mentioned, you can import your own also through this plus sign here. Now, one of the cool things that you can do with this is you can layer on whatever kind of sample you want and it will texturize it. And that can be useful if you're working with some sounds that maybe are pretty good, but you want to just spice them up a bit. So here, let's solo this loop and I'll show you some of the things that you can do on it. You can hear just on this default setting on the vinyl that the sample adapts to the signal that's coming into it. So it will sort of play along with the hits of these drums. Let's find something kind of quirky to add to it. So if you wanted this to be tighter to the drums, you could reduce the fall time. Here's the loop itself, and then I'll add Texturize back in. Right? It adds some delicious little things there. And I was cruising through the presets and I found one that sounded really cool. It was the water cylinder. So we've got this shaker. And when you add this, it sounds like the shaker has water in it. And let's bring this back into the full track. Really cool. I have never used a water shaker before, but now I think I'm definitely going to in a future project. I really think that that's a cool idea. It also sounds really cool on synthesizers. Some of the presets have a synth FX. So it's a bit of noise that would come along, say, with an analog synth. You can layer it with your digital synthesizer sounds. That's cool. Let's move the high pass up. I'll turn it on and off again for you. Love that water. Cool. And if you've got a snare drum that sounds as though it's not really bright enough or it's not really coming through, you could add perhaps some white noise to it. This is a pretty common sound design and production method is to add a little bit of white noise underneath your snare. You could shorten the release or the decay time so that it is tighter to the snare. Here's the original snare. And then with the white noise on. Cool, so I've added a few instances of Texturize here, and I'm going to turn all of them together on and off just to see how it influences the balance and the program that we've got going here. Pretty cool. So you can hear the influence that it has. It just adds some extra flavors to the sounds that you're working on. By the way, this is available to you if you are a Focusrite user. It'll be in your software section on your account. You can add it there. Otherwise, you can pick it up. It's a really fun plugin. But I like the emphasis that Texturize has on found sounds and foley sounds, where you can layer those in to your productions. So you can go out into your everyday life and record something. Maybe it's some birds chirping or the sound of people walking around, and then you can add that into your production as well as a nice little layer that accommodates the rest of the production that you're working on. So you can have a lot of fun with it too. Try it out.